Okay, so, well, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. Um, well, that ain't. Okay, that's not doing it. But whatever, it don't matter. Okay, so we'll just take and bring this kind of down here like so. And, yeah. Oh, okay. You want to come up here with me for a minute? Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Okay. Daddy's going to have to go have a bowel movement here in a minute. You know it? Mm-hmm. Whoa, don't touch. Okay, don't touch. Yeah. Wanna, well, anyway. So leave stuff alone, okay? All right. What in the world here? Oh! All right. So everybody, this here is my 3-year-old son, and as y'all can tell, more than likely, he has Down syndrome. I have 50-50 with him, between me and his mother, and yeah, that's the brief of the whole thing. Blah, blah, blah. Most of the time he's not a handful. This morning, though, he's been a little bit of a handful, but not too bad. For 3 years old, he is extremely well behaved. He's just being a little wild this morning, though. Normally, he's not all up in everything. Normally, he's just a well-rounded, respectful kid, and I try to just let him do his own thing and tell me when he wants me to show him attention, and just let him do his own thing when he wants to be left alone. And I'm trying to raise him with all the freedoms that I can, while keeping him safe and protected at the same time. Ready to get down? Okay. Just like that right there, I let him tell me, no, I let him decide when he wants to be on my lap and when he doesn't. I let him make a lot of his own decisions, best that I can. I try not to be that overbearing eagle eye, so to speak, over him, and I don't think eagle eye is really the word for it. Don't try to tell him exactly everything to do, when to do it, how to do it. Want him to grow and to learn and to experience the new things. And I certainly don't want to hinder his growing and learning just because I'm too scared to allow him the freedoms to do so. The title of this video is discussing juvenile sex offender laws, and that's what we're going to get to eventually.
Oh, Bubba.
But do keep in mind, in the middle of it, right now it's just me and my son in here. So while I'm doing that, well, you see what my responsibilities are. So we'll get to things as we get to things. What? Where's your other drills at, son? Because I know this is not your favorite drill by any means, but I'm guessing you don't know where your others are. All right, you want to go to the bathroom? Want to go to the bathroom? Let's go to the bathroom. All right, yeah. We'll be back here in a minute, folks. There you go. Come on. You know why you brought my briefcase out here? pharmacy? That's yours? Okay, looks like something that maybe not. Anyway, never mind. I didn't know if maybe there was something in the mailbox or something. Good. How'd you get there? Huh? How'd you get to the pharmacy? Oh, okay, cool. Because I knew Mom was gone.
You want that?
Oh. Oh, that ain't no good. You talking about that one that gave you a ride? Oh. You okay?
Go.
Oh, boy.
Go.
All right. You sticking around, Pam?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you ain't got to. I mean, if you don't want to, I'm just asking.
Sit down. Well, you eat them and then I'll give you some of them. Eat that.
Do what?
I told you a while ago, we were just sitting there, I said, I'm going to go to the pharmacy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Cool. Let's see here.
What are you doing? Okay, what are you doing?
You gonna keep an eye on him while I'm back here?
Ow! Did I hurt? Why you hitting your head?
I've been doing that all day, all morning on my collarbone.
Why you doing that?
Turn your back.
Don't hurt your head. There. Now, don't do it no more.
I hope he ain't gonna be just like his daddy was when I was a child.
Bang your head on the floor when you do
Bang my head on everything is what I used to do. Oh, I hope he don't go down that path like I did.
What are you doing?
Hey, what?
I am supposed to take a bath. You want to?
That my dietary stuff to help gain weight or something?
Yeah.
Let's see. Too many tablets have as much vitamin E and magnesia, or as 3. Let's see. Too many tablets have as much as 3 ounces of almonds and as much as 2 bananas. Suggested use. Adults take 2 tablets daily with food not formulated for use in children. Do not exceed suggested use. So 2 of them a day. Huh? Do what? Oh no, I didn't read that. It didn't say either way. This product is not intended to provide daily intake of whatever routine you take with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. Replacement for cholesterol lowering drugs. Doesn't really say. I mean, it might, but I don't really see anything where it says to eat or not eat on it. So, unless there's a label inside or something on the bottle itself, it might be on the bottle itself. Keep out of reach of children. Okay, take 2 tablets daily with food. Not formulated for use in children. Do not exceed suggested use. So, you want to eat with it.
No.
Okay, so You got eyes on him while I'm back here? I got a second video going, second live feed. Okay. I mean, I can keep an eye on him while doing it. It ain't no big deal, but it might make it a little easier if I know somebody's got eyes on him.
Got eyes on him.
All right.
What?
Oh, he wants to play with the set.
What?
Get that.
Where are you going?
He won't be bothering me by coming back here.
Come here.
Because I'll just stop right whatever I'm doing, and focus on him.
He's
Nobody
not in
home.
there.
You just walked right past him, you silly.
Hey.
He's behind you.
Hey, no. Not here. Nobody in there. Come on.
All I know, they found her unconscious on the floor. And they rescued her St. Joseph Hospital yesterday. Last night. That was about 2:30 this morning.
That ain't no
And
good.
I said, how long has she been laying there? My aunt said she didn't know.
Oh boy.
For some reason, he doesn't want these grandpa.
Oh. Graham crackers. Vanilla wafers? I don't know. Let's see here.
Sit down. Got this down. You goofy little boy. Goofy little boy.
Okay, let me see here. Okay,
There
what
you
is
go.
this? Okay, I don't know what this is. We're just gonna. What is that? Oh, okay. Well, that's cool, but I can do all that from the other screen. We're gonna X this out for a second. What?
Did you sleep in the chair last night?
I know I was going to, and then I didn't. Oh, what the world? Okay, there we go. So now, we'll just kind of, whatever, do like that. Do like that there. I don't know why my screen is pink for. Figure all that out. Oh, it's because I know why it is. Do what?
Did he eat his sippy cup?
Did he eat his sippy cup? No. He threw his sippy cup, so I put it up here as a timeout from his sippy cup after he threw it.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't really want it, huh?
I don't know what his deal was. He's been ornery this morning.
Here you go.
Okay, so let me turn this down here. So not exactly sure why I'm supposed to do this video. I just kind of go with what seems to come to my spirits.
What didn't that's you was doing so that.
I just kind of go with the flow of just whatever happens, whatever comes to me. With the understanding that if there's no sin in it, then oftentimes it's from the Lord. Sometimes it's not. We all just got to experience that walk with the Lord to be able to understand. And then we put it into practice. When we feel that we might have heard something, from the Lord, then we put it into practice. Rather we put it into practice, or we're too scared to put it into practice. Well, we're learning by each event, by either way we decide to do things, and so if we choose not to obey, then we end up experiencing the consequences from that. And if we choose to obey, then we end up learning from that and seeing how things play out and understanding that, okay, that was the Lord speaking, and now I know how to, that's another learning experience for knowing how to hear from God and how not to, when it's Him and when it's not. It's really a hard thing to explain, trying to explain how to hear from God. There's a few basic concepts. Basically, if there's sin in it, it's definitely not from God. Oftentimes, when you think you heard from God, you let it go. Well, especially starting out. Starting out, you definitely just let it go. And if it continues to come back to you time and time again, then more than likely it's the Lord. As you gain experience, as time goes on and you gain experience learning to listen to the Holy Spirit, it gets easier and easier. But once you start getting into that depth, it's hard. It's almost impossible to explain past that how to hear from the Spirit. You just kind of know.
What?
That's about the best way I can explain it. So, yeah, here we are. So I'm just basically, I've got, I have no clue what I'm going to talk about in regards to the juvenile sex offender laws today. But, however, I just felt like I was supposed to Google sex offender, how did I do it? Let me see here. Juvenile sex offender registration laws and whatever it was that I put in. One thing I'm on right now is the American Bar Association website. I haven't really read any of this. What are we doing? Okay. I haven't really read any of this, so we can just read it together. And anybody that might have questions, you can type your questions out. Need to get this screen a little bigger here. Something just isn't right. I can't really see what I'm doing over here very well. All right, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. All right, so now lower that back down just a hair. Move the whole thing back over. Right. And then this here, we can just pull that back down. Line this up. Come on. Line that up. That'll make me feel better. I think I can actually see something. Okay, so I guess we'll just read this together. And y'all just have to bear with me, as I do have my 3-year-old son here, and yeah, I do have somebody here helping keep an eye on him and giving him attention, but I still have to keep my eyes open too. And if he comes back here at any point, then he's telling me he wants me and wants to spend time with me, and I'm going to stop whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm at, and spend time with him until he chooses that he wants to go on and do something else. Let's see. Apparently, whatever this is by the American Bar Association is dated February of 2009. Recommendation: resolved that the American Bar Association urges Congress and the state legislatures to re-examine and revise laws, policies, and practices that require youth to register as sex offenders or be subject to community notification provisions otherwise imposed upon adult sex offenders based upon a juvenile court adjudication. Let's see. Practices that require youth to register. Association. The American Bar Association urges Congress and state legislatures to re-examine and revise the laws. Okay. Policies and practices that require youth to register as sex offenders or be subject to community notification provisions otherwise imposed upon adult sex offenders based upon a juvenile court adjudication. Further resolved that the American Bar Association urges Congress to amend Public Law 109-248 regarding sexual crimes committed by juveniles. Okay, just going to get to that in a second, okay. it'll get to what that Public Law 109-248 is in a minute, here in just a second. Juveniles to require juvenile court. Okay. That the American Bar Association urges Congress to amend Public Law 109-248 regarding sexual crimes committed by juveniles to require that juvenile court judges consider factors relevant to the specific offenses in the individual juvenile offender in determining whether they should be placed on the offender registration or offender registry, subjected to sex offender registration requirements and community notifications of their offense, or otherwise face additional restrictions generally placed on adult sexual offenders. What we're going to do here is make a note for something else, other things to look up as well. Let's see. We'll get into statistics of different aspects of things too, including statistics of reoffenders. Reoffenders that pled guilty or were convicted as adults and or as juveniles. Reoffenders convicted as adults versus juveniles. Okay. Carrying on. Further resolved that the American Bar Association urges states to A. Apply the provisions of Public Law 109-248 prospectively. I thought that was about to tell me. Okay, all right, we're going to stop them for a second. We're going to come over here, and we're going to pull up another tab over here and do this. And let's type in 109-248. Enter. Okay, I'm looking for public law there. Okay, government info. Let's click on that. Blow that up. Oh, good grief. Okay, apparently I just entered into a PDF. Let's see, a 64-page PDF. You know what? Matter of fact, you know what? Let me just do this. I'm gonna print this off. Yeah, I need this for my records anyway.
64 pages.
Yep, 64 pages.
About sex offenders.
Juvenile sex offender law. It's further resolved that the American Bar Association urges Congress to amend Public Law 109-248. So yeah, 64 pages outlining what that public law is. Okay, print. So I've got that printing off right now. We will. It'll take a little bit for that to print off, and meanwhile we'll continue reading here, and then we'll come back to the actual public law. Okay. Okay. A. Apply the provisions. Okay. Further resolved that the American Bar Association urges states to A. Apply the provisions of Public Law 109-248 respectively only to adjudicated juveniles, so that they are not subjected to collateral punishment or other sanctions that would go beyond that originally handed down by the juvenile court after a juvenile delinquency adjudication, and B. Provide a remedy through which adjudicated persons may later apply for relief from sex offender registration and other related requirements after an appropriate period of supervision, treatment, and lawful community adjustment. Further resolved that the American Bar Association urges Congress and state legislatures to provide increased funding for assessment and effective treatment interventions for juveniles adjudicated sexual offenses, as well as for specialized juvenile probation service monitoring of these adolescents. Further resolved that the American Bar Association urges Congress and the state legislatures to provide increased funding to better meet both the short and long-term treatment needs of child victims of sex crimes. Report. American Bar Association policy has long promoted individualized treatment of juveniles, limited the dissemination of juvenile records, and prohibited collateral consequences for juvenile behavior. The juvenile justice policy, I slipped through the cracks of that one. Yeah. All right. Somehow, my case slipped through the cracks, and I've had to deal with just that, the collateral consequences for a juvenile behavior. The juvenile justice policy developed in conjunction with the and set forth in 20 volumes of IJA juvenile justice standards calls for individually tailored treatment of juveniles that is fair in purpose and scope. The purpose of the juvenile correctional system is to reduce juvenile crime by maintaining the integrity of the substantive law.
Yeah.
Whoa. Is that all of them? Oh, wow. That was quick. Wow. Okay. Where was it? Citizens law proscribing certain behavior and by developing individual responsibility for lawful behavior. The purpose should be pursued through means that are fair and just and recognize the unique characteristics and needs of juveniles and that give juveniles access to opportunities for personal and social growth. Yeah, I definitely slipped through the cracks on this one, for sure. I wonder if I can print this off by chance. Oh, come on. Okay. Italy. Great. So now I gotta redo that. What was that? Let's see. Okay. There we are. The standards also set forth clear parameters for juvenile justice sanctions. Man, I really want to print this off. Oh, here, wait a minute. Maybe I can do it that way. View page insights, desktop site. I could do a share, a download. Can I download it? Okay. Yeah, I can download it and probably print it off. Should be a lot easier to read it from paper than from the screen. Okay. Why is offline? What do you mean offline? I want to. Let me click on that. Well, that didn't. Viewing an offline copy of this page. Okay, well, if that be the case, if I'm offline, then you should give me a print option. Try a share option, maybe. Print, there we go. One of 11 pages. That's fine. We can do it that way. All right, so we'll print that off as well. Oh.
say it's clean.
What?
I tell you it's clean. It's a little bit too little for you. Huh? Now do you want it? I put them in mine.
You didn't dump whatever was left in the pot up there?
Yeah.
Ah! Okay.
All around.
Alright.
Right there.
Gotcha.
Let it get in. Now it's got grounds in the bottom of it.
Alright.
It's got grounds in the bottom of it.
I can't hear you.
It's got grounds in the bottom of it.
Gotcha.
Tiptoes. Tiptoes is out there?
He's in the window. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Alright, so this is printed off. I probably ought to get my stapler out. Hang on, not really. I just do, paper clip or something on this. I don't know. Let's see, where was I here? Let's see. Get this away. We read through the A and B section. A and B, and report. I think we read through the report part of it. No, we didn't finish through the report. Where did we leave off at here? Social growth. Okay, right there. So that's where we left off. Okay. That there. What the world? Oh, okay, here we go. Alright, so we'll do this here. And then I see something else here too. Sorner. Oh, that could be interesting. Alright. Okay, let's see if I can just print that off too. Can I download it? Let me download it. Alright. So, carrying on with the report, the standards also set forth clear perimeters for juvenile justice sanctions, stating that the definition and application of sanctions should not only address public safety but also give fair warning about prohibited conduct and recognize the unique physical, psychological, and social features of young persons. 2. These standards, along with accepted clinical research, recognize that juveniles differ from adults in terms of culpability, and that their patterns of offending differ from adults in terms of culpability. 3, and that their patterns of offending. Okay, somehow I just reread the same line. Anyway, start from there. And that their patterns of offending differ from those of adults as well. Thus, policy supports sanctions that vary in restrictiveness and intensity, are developmentally appropriate, and are limited in duration. In light of these goals of the juvenile justice system and of the transitory characteristics of youth offenders, policy also limits the compilation and dissemination of juvenile records. Yeah, a lot of good it did me. In general, the standards disapprove of labeling offenders, call for very careful control of records, and prohibit making juvenile records public. A lot of good it did me. Access to and the use of juvenile records should be strictly controlled to limit the risk that disclosure will result in the misuse or misinterpretation of information. the unnecessary denial of opportunities and benefits to juveniles, or an interference with the purposes of official intervention. So I'm going to just stop right there for a second. The way things went with my case, how I slipped through the cracks, whatever. One, I found out later in years, while I was serving a prison sentence for failure to register, and I was using that time to file a petition for executive clemency that was filed with the state of Illinois, being the state that it all happened in. And during the time that I filed, Ron Blagojevich was the governor, and so he was facing his own criminal charges, blah blah blah. Wasn't dealing with any of the petitions for executive clemency. So for several years, those petitions just piled up on the governor's desk until such time as a new governor came in years later, 2-3 years later, whatever. And then at that point, the new governor had such a backlog of petitions that I have to imagine the way things went, and the fact that it just straight up, that when I did get the denial letter many years later, of course I was a free man living here in Oklahoma by that point, and it was like 6, 7, 8 years later, I don't know. Anyway, and all it did was say I was denied. That was it. No explanation, no nothing. And I could just tell that what happened was the new governor, going through them petitions, just started denying or approving just whatever. Probably just denied most everything. Anyway, so they say juvenile records are sealed. Yep, they're sealed. Except in my case, I don't know if I said, but when I was locked up, I found out that my attorney, when I was a juvenile, could have filed one piece of paper. I forget exactly what it was or anything, but he could have filed a piece of paper with the courts. He had 30 days to do it from the time that I was that I pled guilty. And for those new to hearing about this issue, blah blah blah. The long and short of it was my dad was a very abusive person, and he didn't want to keep going back and forth to court with me. I was like 15 years old. And he told me I was going to plead guilty and just made me plead guilty. So, whatever. There's that. Okay, so anyway, I find out that my attorney could have filed a piece of paper that would have kept me from ever having to register again once I turned 18. My attorney failed to do that, and now I guess it's too late to go back in and do any of that. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand any of it. Whatever. So then I was homeless during my periods of my young adult life, and I couldn't register because I had no place to register at, and so I went to prison. Anyway, so now that puts a failure to register on my criminal history that anybody can look at, because now that's on my adult record. The other thing that happens is I move around so much, state to state, whatever, that every time I'd move to a new state or a new county or just go in and register at all, the police department, being I'm getting older at this point, and they're seeing sex offender, and everybody's different personalities. Not all of the people that dealt with my registry when I go in and re-register was the same. There was some good people, but there was some extremely bad people as well. And when they did my registry and when they put it online, they put in falsities. They put falsities into the records, and because my juvenile record was sealed, so they couldn't get anything from that, and so they just made up whatever to make themselves feel good, to slander me, whatever the case is. And so now you got some records showing that I molested an 8-year-old girl. Never happened. Shows that the charges that I was charged with was completely different than what they actually was. Oh boy. Anyway, and then you got people out here that all they care about hearing is the title sex offender. As soon as they hear that, bam, you must be an evil, sadistic, child molesting, psychopath, whatever they want to call you, and you deserve to die. Which explains why I've been gang beaten multiple times and left for dead throughout my life. So, in short on this, there is a lot of false records out there, or not maybe necessarily a lot, but there are multiple records out there that can be found online that are false. There was a point in time, and I don't know how it came about. I don't know how it happened exactly. I know I was fighting different things and doing different things to try to clear these falsities up. And at some point in time in the years, like I periodically search my own name, and there was a lot of falsities that would come up under my own name. Well, at some point here, about maybe 6-7 years ago, I searched my name and there was nothing. It was as if somebody went into the mainframe and cleared my name from the mainframe. I haven't now, and I searched my name several times after that, never seen anything. Now it has been years since I searched my own name, so I don't know. It does seem like at some point when I searched my name, at some point in the last 6 or 7 years, that I noticed a lot of falsities were back again. But I don't know. I haven't bothered to search my own name. I ain't got it in me to do that, I don't guess. Maybe someday I will. I don't know. But so now here we are. I've slipped through the cracks. Yeah, my record is sealed, but no, it's not, because of the failure to registers on the juvenile case that I should have never had to register as an adult on. So because of that, because of the sheriffs or police or whatever that was doing the registry at the time, hating anybody with that appearance of a title or whatever, and maybe they had a bad day that day, who knows, but for whatever reason, because of dealing with people like that through the years, and because of going homeless, because of being slipped through the cracks, because the original attorney didn't do what he was supposed to, well, here I am. I'm labeled a sex offender, and everybody just believes that I'm this horrible monster. Whatever. Anyway, so there is a real need for change within the juvenile sex offender registry laws. This privacy requirement is essential because most adolescent antisocial activity is not predicted of future criminal activity. Finally, policy prohibits collateral consequences for delinquent behavior. Prohibits collateral consequences. Yet that's exactly what I've had to deal with over the years. It's collateral consequences. Having this label put on me as an adult for a juvenile offense that should have been sealed. As a result, being gang beaten, left for dead multiple times throughout the years. Being imprisoned for 9 months one time in Texas, over 2.5 years on a 4-year in Illinois. And in all of my adult criminal record, the only thing I have on my adult criminal record, or had, should I say, was to do with the juvenile offense. And then because of the juvenile offense, I got charged in 2012 with felony possession of a firearm. If the juvenile thing hadn't slipped through the cracks and entered into my adult life, being the collateral consequences that's supposed to be prohibited, I would have never caught that felony possession of a firearm after former felony conviction. So now I have that on my rap sheet. I had to go through all that, 10 years of probation, 2 years supervised, losing everything that I had worked for, and having to rebuild, so on and so forth, whatever. Yeah, that's all collateral consequences of that juvenile issue that happened. Finally, policy prohibits collateral consequences for delinquent behavior. The standards state that no collateral disabilities extending beyond the term of the disposition should be imposed by the court, by operation of law, or by any person or agency exercising authority over the juvenile. Long-term registration not only violates this standard, but is detrimental to both rehabilitation and crime prevention. Long-term registration not only violates this standard, but is detrimental to both rehabilitation and crime prevention. Praise the Lord, it hasn't been detrimental to, well, there was whatever. Hasn't really ever had to be any rehabilitation of me because there was never an issue in my mind to begin with. I'm the one that went to my dad to get everything stopped. But whatever. Anyway. Background. On July 27th, oh, that's convenient, 2006, President George W. Bush signed into law the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act. Public Law 109-248, which is the 64-page report that I've got printed off here, the PDF or whatever. Okay, thereby establishing minimum requirements for statewide sex offender registration and notification. Title 1 of the Act, which is to be applied retroactively, requires the inclusion of even juvenile adjudications if the youth offender was at least 14 years old and the offense was comparable to or more severe than aggravated sexual abuse. Which it wasn't, but whatever. Leaving almost no discretion to the states or to individual judges. The Act specifies the extent. So the president, George W. Bush, did this. Oh, one man made a decision, from what I'm understanding, one man, George W. Bush, made a decision that would impact juveniles' lives for the rest of their life. Nice. One man gets to decide that. You okay there, buddy? My goodness, kid.
Did that hurt?
I felt it.
I felt it, and I didn't do it.
He's a tough little cookie, I tell you that.
I don't believe you do that. Why would you do that? No way you're going to knock yourself out one of these days if you keep on doing that.
Shit.
I thought he was going to get you.
Okay, so President George W. Bush signed into law the Adam Walsh Child Protection, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we already read through that. All right, leaving almost no discretion to the states or to individual judges, the Act specifies the extent and duration of registration requirements, the information to be included in the registries, and the scope of community notification. The Act specifies the extent and duration of registration requirements, the information to be included in the registries, and the scope of community notifications. The law further requires the imposition of a criminal penalty for failure to comply with the registration requirements. Youthful offenders can petition to be removed from the registry, but not until 25 years have passed. Golly. Furthermore, golly, youthful offenders can petition to be removed from the registry, but not until 25 years have passed. Furthermore, while the Act established a new baseline sex offender registry standard, jurisdictions remain free to enact even more stringent requirements. Inappropriately, the laws, policies, and practices of many states and the federal government are publicly identifying and labeling preteen through age 17 youth for a length of time ranging from 10 years to their entire lifetimes as sex offenders as a result of unlawful sexual conduct that is often their first and only sexual offense. These children, throughout their adolescence and into adulthood, face substantial loss of privacy as well as potential stigmatization, harassment, or vigilantism. So I guess I was on the wrong feed. Holy moly, that's only a couple more years for you. Oh yeah, that's before I can put the, before like we already know that you're off, Sarah, so that means, and you didn't have to wait 25 years. So I don't quite understand this. Now granted, this stuff was written in, what I'm reading right now was written in 2009. So, and it was in 2017, I think, when we did what we did to get that squashed for you. But, so I'm guessing that things changed a little bit since then. But for me, I did my prison sentences prior to when this was written even. Yeah, things are apparently a little different given that you, given the attorney was able to find a way to get you relieved from it. Yeah.
Everybody-
But it does say.
Okay.
So I don't know where the revised is of this, if there's a revised, and maybe there's no revision. Maybe it was just something that your attorney was able to some sort of special petition. I don't know, and that where he was able to find a loophole for you. I don't understand it all. Youthful offenders can petition to be removed from the registry, but not until 25 years have passed. Anyway, where were we here? Page 17. Okay, we already read that. Many states currently exclude juvenile adjudications from their registries, a policy choice consistent with youth sex offenders' responsiveness to treatment and correspondingly low recidivism rates. This right here explains why I live in Oklahoma. However, if a state fails to comply with the act by July 2009, it is likely to forfeit certain federal funds. Specifically, a state's failure to come into substantial compliance with the law will result in an annual 10% reduction in funds the state receives through burn grants. The federal government will redistribute these withheld funds to the states that comply with the Adam Walsh Act for that fiscal year. So, wow, I am super impressed with Oklahoma. Oklahoma did not allow money to come to get in the way of morals and what's right. I am so incredibly proud of Oklahoma right now. Wow. Wow. Congress and state legislatures should re-examine and revise laws requiring public identification of youth as sex offenders for conduct that is often their first and only sexual offense. I'd say, yeah. The opposes those provisions of the Adam Walsh Act that apply to juvenile offenders. Sexually inappropriate behavior by children is wrong, but it requires a response that recognizes the major differences between youth and adults in order to best serve the interests of the child as well as those of the community. Importantly, sex offending in adolescent has only a limited correlation to adult sex offending. In fact, the number of false positives is approximately 90%. Numerous studies have revealed rates of recidivism among juvenile sex offenders to fall between 3 and 7%. So basically, anybody that was convicted as a juvenile of sex offender crimes, the recidivism rate, the reoffending rate, is only between 3 and 7%. That is probably...
That's why he threw it.
That is probably the lowest recidivism rate of any particular crime. I'd have to imagine. Furthermore, youth sex offenders generally engage in fewer abusive behaviors over shorter periods of time. Such low incidence rates suggest that the long-term negative impact to youth of appearing on a public registry, stigmatization, loss of employment and housing opportunities, susceptibility to harassment and vigilantism may well outweigh the limited public safety benefit promised by the registries. That should tell them something right there. Yep. In addition, community notification requirements can complicate youth rehabilitation and hinder treatment. Well, praise the Lord, it didn't for me, but there really wasn't ever a problem to begin with me. I mean, yes, what I did was wrong, but it wasn't my mindset. It wasn't me. That's why I went to get it stopped. Often youths are harassed at school and forced to drop out, and the stigma that arises from registration and community notification exacerbates what are already, for many juvenile offenders, poor social skills. In the process, the social networks necessary for successful rehabilitation are destroyed. Can you imagine how many kids' lives are ruined? Oh, yeah. I know. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine, even though I'm going through it myself, just as the extent of how many, but I know there are thousands. I'm speculating between, well, within the United States, I'm speculating 2,000 to 3,000 kids' lives are ruined. Probably 2,000 to 3,000 lives every maybe 5 years, just kind of doing a guesstimation on it. About 2,000 to 3,000 kids every maybe 5 years, maybe more. I don't know. But as low key as all the sex offender stuff or juvenile stuff is, and the slowness in which laws are changed or dealt with, it kind of tells me that the numbers are much fewer than the average type of crime, whatever. Where was I here? These negative effects of registration. Did I read through all that? I think I did. No. These negative effects of registration and notification are doubly unfortunate in light of the fact that recent social science research indicates that juveniles generally stand to benefit much more than do adults from sex offender treatment. Juvenile treatment efforts benefit not only from youth, emerging development, but also from the involvement of parents, caregivers, and family members, all of whom rarely participate in adult offender treatment. Yeah, my dad didn't really do much of that, but yeah, whatever. Notwithstanding that juveniles are more amenable to treatment and less susceptible to recidivism, however, juveniles adjudicated delinquent of offenses which subject them to the act will be classified as sex offenders and are therefore subject to lifetime registration. This is in conflict not only with policy but also with the juvenile justice system's long-standing commitment to a rehabilitative focus with regard to juvenile sex offenders. Accordingly, the urges Congress and the states to reconsider and revise laws requiring juveniles to publicly register as sex offenders. Congress and the states should, judges so discretion to decide whether juveniles should be placed on sex offender registries. Just as recent research, keeping in mind this was written in 2009, just as recent research suggests important distinctions between juvenile and adult sex offenders, it similarly indicates that not all juvenile sexual offenders are the same. Treatment of these youth should be based upon a thorough and comprehensive assessment that allows for the careful tailoring of interventions based upon the risks presented. This act, in contrast, creates a strict liability scheme whereby the discretion of the judge and prosecutor are eliminated. Treatment of these youths should be based upon a thorough and comprehensive assessment that allows for the careful tailoring of interventions based upon the risks presented. This act, in contrast, creates a strict liability scheme whereby the discretion of the judge and prosecutor are eliminated. Meanwhile, there are neither provisions for a risk assessment hearing in the case of juveniles adjudicated delinquent and subject to registration, nor exemptions for the intrafamilial cases of sexual abuse. I don't quite understand all that. I think I should. I feel like I should understand it, but I don't. Whatever. All right, sis. The legal response to juveniles who exhibit sexual inappropriate behavior should take into account youth's developmental status. It should not automatically subject them to registry and notification requirements that will likely prohibit them from ever leading a normal life. Because registration and notification have questionable public safety benefits when applied against juveniles and are likely to foster peer rejection, isolation, and increased anger in adolescents. They should be imposed, if at all, for juveniles conscientiously and selectively. Yeah, I've experienced every bit of that. large degrees. Juvenile court judges are uniquely qualified to decide pursuant to state law, taking into account the use specific offense. I don't think I had a juvenile court judge. I think in my case, when was that? 99, 2000, somewhere in there. And that was the other thing, if y'all caught on, was when my case happened, that whole Megan's Law thing with John Wash and all that had just came out. And, oh my goodness. Everybody, didn't matter, anybody with any kind of deal, juveniles, adults, any of that, they was just mass grouped into the same thing with no consideration to the uniqueness of anybody's case, or if they was kids or adults or anything. Everybody was just mass grouped into this sex offender label and basically discarded from society as a result. Juvenile court judges are uniquely qualified to decide pursuant to state law, taking into account the use of specific offense, risk of reoffending. Wait a minute, didn't I already read this? Prior delinquent acts, dangerousness to the community and other potential no, I didn't. Personal and family information. Whether a youth should be subjected to the registration and notification requirements are usually made of adult offenders. While this approach does not guarantee that all juveniles will be exempted from community notification, it permits the judiciary to exercise discretion in determining whether a juvenile's offense history and identifying information should be subject to public disclosure. This urges Congress and the states to grant juvenile court judges so discretion in the delicate matter that is handled far too uniformly by the Act. Congress and the states should provide a reasonable method for juvenile offenders to petition for removal from registries and should reject retroactive application of the acts of minors. A large percentage of juvenile sex offenders occur within families. A large percentage of juvenile sex offenses occur within families and do not rise to the level of sexual predation targeted by the Act. Furthermore, the lifetime registration provisions of the Act, which do not permit petitions for removal until at least 25 years have passed, are likely to have a chilling effect on the reporting of these crimes and will reduce admissions to the charges in the cases that do not get reported. The results will be far more contested proceedings in these cases, far fewer delinquency adjudications, and far fewer juveniles getting to the help they need. To the extent possible, Congress and the states should provide a reasonable method for low-risk offenders to petition to be removed from federal and state sex offender registries. Also troubling is the retroactivity of the Act. In general, the fact-finding and delinquency plea processes in juvenile courts have fewer safeguards than has the adult system because law has long realized that children are less culpable than adults. In McKeever versus Pennsylvania, what's up? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In McKeever versus Pennsylvania, the United States Supreme Court rejected the idea that juveniles are deserving of all the procedural rights guaranteed to adults accused of committing a crime, and instead instituted a fundamental fairness approach. Rejected the idea that juveniles are deserving of all the procedural rights. Oh, wow. Later in Bellotti versus Baird, the court articulated three specific factors warranting disparity between the constitutional rights of youth and adults. The unique vulnerability of children, their inability to make critical decisions in an informed and mature manner, and the importance of the parental role. Howdy. Thus, juvenile sex offenders are deprived of the procedural protections provided to adult offenders, and the juvenile adjudications for sex offenses consequently tend to lack the precision required by policy. These Supreme Court rulings have been grounded in the recognition that During the formative years of childhood and adolescence, youth frequently lack the experience, perspective, and judgment necessary to recognize and avoid choices that could be detrimental to them. Accordingly, Congress and the states should reject retroactive application to the Act to those who were minors at the time of their offenses. We'll enter the conclusion of that in a minute. Oh man, I got to step away. All that reading, for some reason, it's kind of different, making my chest like get real tight. Oh, that's a weird combination.
I know.
Nacho chips and vanilla wafers.
Vanilla wafers.
What?
Oh, chips and vanilla wafers.
Do what?
Nacho chips, nacho cheese, and plain potato chips and vanilla wafers.
Uh-huh. Weird combination.
Well, I wouldn't eat it. You didn't want it at first. You might not be eating it. I thought you were talking about the clothes.
Well, that is too. The pants.
It's like a little green.
I can't really say what I think about those pants because my mic's hot.
They look like little girls' pants.
They look worse than that even.
Why? Because that's what they wear in the county table.
I don't know about that, but that's what they wear in the hood.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put it that way.
Well, I saw that patty there. I thought, well, those two big play pants. I mean, you know.
It's in the hood.
No, they're not as bad as I'm making it out to be.
No.
I wonder if this coffee's been brewing long enough for me to get through that.
It is. It should be.
We'll see. Yeah, not too
You
bad.
have to put a cushion on the floor in there so you won't bang his head.
That
Well, it did the profile. So that's Brian's kid.
what?
What Brian said he did when he was getting ready.
Yeah, he's getting in this habit of banging his head on stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
here and there. I mean, he doesn't do it on purpose. You know, when he hit his head over here, he didn't do that on purpose.
No.
but he does it on purpose so much that he forgets that he doesn't want to do it at a particular time or something when he's just not careful. Oh man, I can't tell you how many times he just leaned forward while sitting on my lap this morning, wham, right against my collarbone. Oh, that hurt so bad. It made me cringe.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, just kept hitting the same spot too, over and over, right here on my collarbone. No, he doesn't realize that he's inflicting pain. I don't think, because he's just not wired that way. He doesn't. He wouldn't do that. I know he wouldn't do that, but he thinks it's funny when somebody jumps and yelps and whatever, and so we gotta be careful not to laugh when he does that stuff. You know, not to make like we gotta get on him. We can't, because if we don't get on to him about it, he just thinks it's funny. And even if we're not laughing, if we carry on about it, it encourages him to continue doing the act, whatever the act may be at that time. So. That's different. We're not hitting each other. Not like that. I mean, we wrestle around and whatnot, but that's completely different than causing inflicting intentional pain. That's anyway. Conclusion: because the Adam Walsh Act is broad and inconsistent with America's Bar Association juvenile justice policy, the ABA, American, what did I call it? Bar Association, ABA, urges Congress and the states to re-examine and revise the laws so that youths are not automatically publicly identified as sex offenders and consequently subjected to stigmatization. Can't even hear myself talk. Wait till they're done, I guess. See if I can hear myself talk now. Let's see. And consequently subjected to stigmatization, harassment, or vigilantism as a result of unlawful conduct that was likely their first and only offense. This supports an amendment of the laws that would give juvenile court judges sole discretion to decide juvenile sex offender requirements pursuant to state law in accordance with the youth's specific offense, risk of reoffending, prior delinquent acts, dangerousness to the community, and other pertinent personal and family background information. In addition, this urges Congress and the states to provide reasonable method for low-risk offenders to petition, to be removed from sex offender registries, and to reject retroactive application of the act to minors. Finally, this calls, and every time they typed in the word "this," it came out as "the" on this for some reason. Finally, this calls for Congress and the state to provide enhanced funding for specialized treatment and monitoring of juveniles adjudicated for sexual offenses, as well as for both the short and long-term treatment needs of child victims of sex crimes. Standard relating to disposition. Standards relating to juvenile delinquency, sanctions 1.1 purposes. As part 3, general principles of liability, blah, blah, blah. And from a moral standpoint, it would be misguided to equate the failings of a minor with those of an adult, for a greater possibility exists that a minor's character deficiencies will be reformed. Interesting. Be reformed. Standards relating to juvenile records and information services, access to juvenile records. Title 1 of the Adam Walsh Act, also known as the Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act, the SARNA, has been codified in part. The Act is intended to be a full replacement of the Jacob, altering sex offender registry requirements. Nearly 2.74 million was a portion. Hold on. What are we doing? You just want to sit back here with me while I do the video? Is that what it is? Got the book with you on? Just want to play back here? Okay, all right. Let's see. Act is intended to be a full replacement of the Jacob Welder and sex offender registration requirements located at whatever, which were enacted during the 90s, the 1990s. Yeah. Nearly 2.74 million was apportioned as the minimum grant for each state in fiscal year 2006.
BBS. BBS.
Setting the minimum disbursement to each state at 0.25% of the total amount allocated for grants under 42 USC something 3758. Blah, 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 blah. The predictive power of juvenile sex offending. Evidence from the second birth cohort, 2007, more than 90% of the time, the arrest of a juvenile for a sex offense is a one-time event, although the juvenile may be apprehended for non-sex offenses typical of other juvenile delinquents. More than 90% of the time, the arrest of a juvenile for a sex offense is a one-time event. This was written by the Bar Association. Yeah. The recidivism rate for juvenile sex offenders is between 3 to 7%. Probably the lowest recidivism rate for any crime. But here we are, and this was something written by the Bar Association in 2009.
Wow.
Long time ago. But here, and they talk about in there, what's the word they used? Something about, I forget the word they used, but basically kids having to deal with alternate consequences. That's not the word I'm looking for. That's not how they used what they used in there, but having to deal with other consequences during their life, basically being labeled unfairly, having to deal with homelessness and joblessness because of something that happened when they was a kid. Yet the recidivism rate is between 3 to 7%. The offenses that occurred is 90% of the time is a one-time thing. But yet they get punished the worst of all crimes. It's a one-time thing that happens when they was a kid. Recidivism rate is 3 to 7%, but they get punished the worst of any crime ever out there. At least for me, anyway. That's what it's been for me. I mean, I've been gang beat multiple times and left for dead over this nonsense.
Yeah, it's worse than getting a murder charge.
Yeah.
Get off that.
In and out of prison over this nonsense. One-time event, although the juvenile may be apprehended for non-offenses typical of other juvenile delinquents. As an American travesty, multiple studies have confirmed extremely low rates for sexual reoffending for juveniles convicted of sex offenses. 92% of the incidents leading to juvenile arrest for sexual offenses would not be eligible as evidence of a pedophilia disorder under American Psychiatric Association diagnostic criteria for abusive sexual uses of children. Let me read that part again. Multiple studies have confirmed extremely low rates for sexual reoffending for juveniles convicted of sex offenses. At Appendix C, moreover, 92% of the incidents leading to juvenile arrest for sexual offenses would not be eligible as evidence of a pedophilia disorder under American Psychiatric Association diagnostic criteria for abusive sexual uses of children. So to all of you out there that keep wanting to call me a pedophile, here's the proof from the American Bar Association. You can go find all of this information. Let me see if I can give the let me see if I can give the site for this. And that way, matter of fact, I'll put it on the screen here if I can get back over to it. Hopefully I can. I should be able to. Which I want to come back to that SORNA. Alright. Let me write that down so I don't forget. SORNA. I think that might have been it right there. American Bar Association. Okay, so I'm going to let me open this up on desktop site, and then that way I can get the I can copy the URL. Let's see. You know what? Let me do it this way. It's got to be done on this computer anyway. So we're gonna just well, I can get out of that anyway because I don't need that anymore. Let's see here. This here. American Bar Association. Do that there. So we're going to copy the URL here, and I'll just put the URL on the screen. Who in the world is this? Hello? Hello? Anyway, so we're going to do it this way, which I probably should have done it that way, but because I need to put it on that screen, you know what? I'll do it that way. Hold on, y'all, for a minute. Let me do it this way. This way y'all can read what I'm reading. No, read it for yourselves. Waiting on this thing to load up. Good grief, this other thing is a 64-page PDF. What, public law, July 27th of 2006. Verifying. I don't need you to verify it. I downloaded Chrome on this computer, and for some reason it's needing to verify that it's safe to use, I guess, being I'm on a Mac. AmericanBar.org/group/public_interest/child_law/resources/attorneys/juvenile_offenders /. Okay. Just open it up already. Thank you, Grandma. Why is it not opening it up? I understand what's going on here. Wait a minute. Earlier I had to right-click it for some reason. What in the world is going on here? Why is it not opening? Oh, whatever. Do it this way. What the world just happened here? Whoa, 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 whoa. Why did that just do that for? Okay, so we don't want to do that. We want to do this. Okay, so now, there we go. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Right here, click on that. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Well, now this isn't right. This isn't giving me the URL. Why? Oh, now it is. Okay. Okay, now
That's what
get off of that. Come over here. Do I forget how to do that though for the URL. Well, first off, I'm going to do it here. Okay, I'm going to put the URL link right here. I'm going to have to change my mouse settings. And why is that what? Oh my goodness. Okay, no, I guess I'm not going to put it there because it won't let me. My mouse settings are all messed up. It won't let me paste it. You know what? Let me do it this way. Maybe if I change and use the alternate mouse. Trying this verifying Google Chrome thing again. Y'all bear with me here. Disconnect there. Come over here. Do this here. Bluetooth. I guess I need to turn this off for a minute. Turn that back on. Let it find it. Devices. Bluetooth preferences. Guess I need to open that up. Oh boy, everything wants to fight me. Oh man. You know what? I do not need you to verify. I just need you to shut up. There. Connect. Okay, good. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Now, let me see if I can close this out and see if this will help me any in order to copy and paste. Nope. Still not going to do it. Just not going to do it. Okay, so we're going to come over here then. Oh boy. Let's see here. Nope. There's some way to do the. It isn't really going to matter, I don't guess. Don't remember how to do the URL, and I don't feel like taking the time to try to figure it out right at the moment. So we're just going to do it this way. Y'all can just mark it down and type it in manually. Oh, it ain't even going to let me paste it there. Oh, you rat. Oh, finally it does. Okay. So now it lets me do it. But I had to do it that way. Okay, we're going to try that. Try this. Oh boy. Okay. So we're going to bring this up here. And it is now on y'all's screen. The link where I'm reading from. Should be anyway. Oh, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong. I need to change over to that so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. See what we get there now. Okay. Yeah, y'all can read it off the screen. So this is where I'm at, where all this information is that I've been reading so far. So, multiple studies have confirmed extremely low rates for sexual reoffending for juveniles convicted for sex offenses. At Appendix C, moreover, 92% of the incidents leading to juvenile arrests for sexual offenses would not be eligible as evidence of a pedophilia disorder under American Psychiatric Association diagnostic criteria for abusive sexual uses of children. For example, one study concluded that only 6.6 of 196 juvenile sex offenders committed a sexually violent offense during the follow-up period. Sexual offense adjudication and sexual recidivism among juvenile sex offenders. Juvenile justice delinquency prevention, juveniles who are sexually offended, review, registration, American Probation and Parole Association, randomized trial of VNC, Coalition for Juvenile Justice, Childhood on Trial, the failure of trying and sentencing youth in the adult criminal system. Adolescents are not miniature grown-ups. They differ from adults in critical physiological and psychological ways. Certain parts of the brain, particularly the frontal lobe and the cable of nerves connecting both sides of the brain, are often not fully formed, which can limit cognitive ability. This is also the part of the brain that has to do with making good judgments, moral and ethical decisions, and reining in impulsive behavior. New research increasingly demonstrates such differences. For instance, the way in which a common mental illness, depression, manifests in the brain of teenagers is entirely different from the way in which it manifests in adults, because throughout adolescence, young people are developing new neurons and adults are not. The American Medical Association The American Medical Association stated in their amicus brief to the United States Supreme Court in Roper v. Evans that adolescents' minds work differently from ours. Parents know it. This court has said it. Legislatures have presumed it for decades or more. And now new scientific evidence sheds light on the differences. Amicus brief on behalf of the American Medical Association, ETAL, Roper v. Simmons, at 2, Supreme Court of the number 03-633. C, in regards, Galt, blah, 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 the philosophy behind the creation of the country's juvenile justice system was that society's role was not to ascertain whether the child was guilty or innocent, but what is he? How has he become what he is, and what had best be done in the interest of the state to save him from a downward career. Thus, the idea of crime and punishment was to be abandoned, and the focus shifted to rehabilitation. Okay. Competence, immaturity, normative competence, and juvenile transfer, how not to punish minors for major crimes. 82 Tex L Rev 1555, bunch of numbers. As mentioned, separate note 20, scientific research confirms important cognitive differences between adolescents and adults. The frontal lobe, vital to controlling impulsive behavior, moral reasoning, and emotions, is the last part of the brain to fully develop. Coalition for Juvenile Justice, applying research to practice. What are the implications of adolescent brain development for juvenile justice? Few adult offenders ever committed sex crimes as adults. Few adult offenders ever committed sex crimes as youths. So we read that very few youths that committed a sex crime ever go on to commit a sex crime as an adult. Meanwhile, we also read that very few adult offenders ever committed sex crimes as youths. Human Rights Watch, no easy answers, sex offender laws in the United States, available at in a URL there. Human Rights Watch, no easy answers. Okay. This highlights another potential danger of registration of juvenile sexual offenders. that publicly available information about the youth's crime could inadvertently expose the identified victims, particularly when the victim is a family member. Approximately 20 to 55% of juveniles who commit sexual offenses self-report sexual abuse. There you have it, right there. Approximately 20 to 25%. No, approximately 20 to 55% of juveniles who commit sexual offenses self-report sexual abuse. U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. Juveniles who have sexually offended, a review of professional literature report, 2001, available at blah, blah, blah. And that concludes that particular writing by the Bar Association on juvenile sex offender policies. Next, I don't know what I'm gonna find in here, if anything much. I don't see me wanting to really go through this entire thing right now, but we're gonna skim through this Public Law 109-248 that was written or revised, one of the two, on July 27th of 2006, and it is in regards to Sex Offender Registration and Notification Acts. We'll just see what plays out on that in a minute. Howdy, buddy. My little buckaroo. You know it, right? You know you my little buckaroo, right? What letter is that you're holding? Is that the letter F? Sure it is. What about that? That's the letter R. Yeah. You say R. R. Yeah. I wrote a bunch of stuff on there. That says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Second one says Mark, Ephesians chapter 4. Or Mark chapter 4, Ephesians 6, 10 to 18. Tell you what, sure smells like Grandma's cooking up one storm of a breakfast in there. Sure does smell amazing. What? Want me to read this one? You gonna read that one while I read this one? All right. God created the sun and the moon. He created water and the land. God created fish and the birds. He created land animals and people too. God created everything. The end. That's the end. Tell you what, I'm about to come rob that stove in a minute. I guess you're just going to sit down there and read for the time being. Do what? You can read that stuff, can't you? I think you can. You might not know how to sound it out, but you can read it, huh? Want me to read it to you? You just handing it to me. You just handing it to me. Is that your Bible? You gonna take the Bible out there? No, all right. No. Ah, oh. Make sure to be careful with it. No, we respect Bibles, right? Right. Gotta be careful with it. I just feel on the towel right there. Oh, he's not quite dead. He's still playing. Honestly, I don't know how he survived with all this going on now. Okay.
Awesome chicken eggs. Some of them are huge on the ones on this side are fine, but the others are a little bit because they weren't froze. So
Oh.
yeah, they were thawed out. We just had in the bag and didn't put it down in the freezer. I guess I thought I was using it.
Well, that would be actually.
Yeah, that didn't work very well. Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I got that crab out and then never ate it. So. Hello.
That's it.
Get someone moved or something?
I don't think she's gonna make it through the night.
Oh, no.
Wow.
She was laying that we said the people before they found her, but she was there for 2 days.
Ooh.
Oh, my
When
goodness.
they found her.
Oh,
And her kids live right around her.
Oh, that's
And
terrible.
she's 93 years old.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I just called her. They told me she doesn't make it through the night.
Wow.
So I called my other aunt and said, if you're going down there, let me know. Because I want to go down there.
Yeah.
My mom's the other sister, so
Yeah.
Gotcha.
anybody that goes at it, if my aunt don't go down there, I'm taking a trip.
Right.
So I can't.
I understand.
Yeah.
So I called the down the street. I said, I know I'm taking 2 little pills, radiation pills, but we're going to skip this radiation pill. Because, like I was saying, they're going to fall.
Well, you can skip one pill, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're not gonna be able. I mean, if she's not gonna make it through the night, you wouldn't be able to make it down there in time.
I know that.
Basically, just go be supportive of the
Anyway, she don't make it through the night. So we'll be in a nursing home for the rest of her life.
Oh boy. Let me pray here real quick. Father, we come to you, Lord. Ask you to forgive us of our sins. Cleanse us food for the nourishment of our bodies. And we will die. Let your name be died. And Lord, in the family. This morning we pray. Thank you for many blessings you bestowed upon us. Amen.
Laying on my, the only way they can message me is on my computer because I took Facebook off of my phone.
Oh.
But I had not Facebook on my phone because it was bringing it down.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I took Facebook off of it and I've been sitting outside. I had these two dogs come up beside me and sit down beside me a while ago. These two dogs over here.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that wasn't supposed to be so mean, the black ones.
Yeah. They
come
woke
up
me up about 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning coming out here. 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
It was 4 o'clock.
Yeah. I don't remember what they did. They're like going ballistic.
Start barking. At my porch or the one cats or something.
Oh, wow.
No, they were
They think
barking
this
at
is
a-
their domain.
They were barking at that possum.
For a possum?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
well, that
possum
was good.
the possum was underneath my trailer this morning.
Oh.
And as they tried to catch the possum, I said, okay, go for it. You can have it.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's
So,
really good.
if I hear any more news, I will tell you that right now I'm going to stay on my computer trying to find out more information.
Okay.
Because otherwise, I'm not trying to make excuses for me, but
Yeah.
like I said,
Gotcha.
if she goes in and passes away, I'm going there.
Right.
You just need to make sure you got your medicine, that you pick up your medicine, and then you let us know. Well, just let me know.
I know, I understand, but you know, I know I have to take my medicine.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I'm being a mother hen.
That's what I just said. You know my mother, but
I know, but just,
you're his mother.
yeah. Good. I want to be your mother, too.
And you're my mother.
I'm your older sister.
And you're my older sister. I have
Another mother. Well,
another mother from another mother.
yeah.
That makes really good sense.
You're another mother from another mother. Okay, then.
I'm just saying that it's pretty serious when they call me at 2:30 in the morning. 3:30.
Right.
It was 3:30 because I woke up. I was awake when the telephone went off, and I sit there and says, "Who's calling me on this unlisted number?"
Yeah.
He said, "I've been trying to get you on Facebook, but you're not on Facebook." I said, "Yeah, I am, but I'm not on my phone on Facebook." So
Right.
they called me, and then my sister called me, and I said, "I don't want to hear from you."
Okay.
But she said, "Yes, you do." So I'm just on my computer. So if you wonder what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. I'm not hibernating. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just worried about that.
I got you.
So if you want me, you can text me on your phone.
Okay.
I'm going to this afternoon to go get my after 1:30 after she raises me. I'm going to go get my pay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. I go get her pills or something this afternoon.
Yeah, she told me that already.
Okay. We'll get back to the main topic here in a few minutes. Them pancakes done?
Yeah.
I'll get me one of them. I was just waiting for it to be done.
It is. It was pretty well done on the other time. I turned them, so they should be
Gotcha.
yeah, you're fine. Girls are running around the other side. Sure, they can run. one here. If you want that one, this one.
Dude. Hello. Hello, dude. Welcome. I haven't seen you in here before, at least not under that name. Welcome to the channel, and hope you'll find peace and rest here at this channel. We have 2 live streams going right at the moment. One we just keep with piano music going, and it's it's just basically a 24/7 feed that gets reset every 8 to 12 hours. And hold on a second. All right. Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it gets reset every 8 to 12 hours, but it's the main feed for going and chatting, getting to know one another, and feeling at home. And then we, from time to time, do separate live feeds on other issues, such as we are now. Of course, everybody's more than welcome to talk on whichever feed they want. But that's basically the lowdown. That's hot. Gotcha. Right now I'm taking an intermission to eat brunch, I guess. Oh.
Yeah, I probably don't want to pancake with that, do you?
See if I can go over to that Sorna and print that off while I'm doing this. Okay. Oh, download page again? No, I didn't know I'd already downloaded it. Oh, too what? I must not have printed it off then. Surely it's the last thing then that I downloaded. Okay. Um. Share maybe. Yeah, there we are. Print. Okay. Printer isn't available on my rear end. Pop it up. One of one. Oh, come on, that ain't right. Okay. Yeah, that just is not right. Share. Again, print. One of one again. That's not right. Okay. What is this? Oh, how did I do this before then? Let's do desktop site then. And go to settings then. Nope, that's not going to be it. How in the world? Oh boy. Okay. Man, it's so hard to figure this stuff out. What the world? Okay, I'm going to do it this way then. There we go. On there. And then do this. Let's see here. It's not going to be under update. Or maybe it will be. Print it. One of one. How is it only one of one? I don't get that. Try it this way. Probably still gonna only be that. Yep. One of one. I don't understand. Why is it only wanting to print one of one? There's more than one page here. Alright, let's do it this way then. Alright. And then come up here. File. Print. See what that does for me. Now we're getting somewhere. I think. Nope. No, we're not. Why did that just do that then? Oh boy. I don't understand what's going on. This is not going to let me print this one for some reason. I don't get it. Oh, whatever. I'll have to read it from the computer, I guess. Sex offender registration of children, SORNA. Oh, wow. I got a more accurate number here. Approximately 200,000 people in 41 states are currently on the sex offender registry for crimes they committed as children.
Wow. That is crazy.
Juvenile Law Center. Let me see if I can, let me see here. Put this one on the screen too, and I did not mean to do that. Ah. Where is it here? SORNA. I know I'm not, it's not that far down. Okay, go back up. There it is. Get that. Knock it off. Come on.
Sit down. Sit down.
Copy. And then come over here and do this here. I'm going to put this next site on here. Here, paste, add. So this is the SORNAs, which is sex offender registration of children. Y'all can copy and paste or write it out or type it out, whatever. And that's to what I'm reading from right now. So let's see. Approximately 200,000 people in 41 states are currently on the sex offender registry for crimes they committed as children. Some were put on the registry when they were as young as 8 years old. The label of sex offender will last forever, regardless of when a child was placed on the registry. Young people deserve second chances and the opportunity to be rehabilitated. Registration forestalls that. It does. Mm-hmm. Young people who commit sexual offenses should be held accountable for their actions. But registries punish young people for years and even decades after they have been through the justice system. We all want accountability, that is fair, but registries harm young people without increasing public safety. Isn't that the truth? Registries are also expensive and ineffective. Putting youth on registries clogs databases and exhausts public safety resources by flooding them with low-risk individuals. Administering registries costs the public over $3 billion a year. Juvenile Law Center works to abolish juvenile sex offender registries nationwide. We provide litigation support to attorneys across the country who are challenging state and federal juvenile registration and provide professional training, technical assistance, and public education on this important issue. Oh, labeled for life. Labeling kids as sex offenders does not increase public safety because the recidivism rates for youth are below 3%. The stigma of this label and the severe restrictions registries place on youth make communities less safe by pushing youth out of schools, separating families, pushing kids into homelessness, which I was. It pushed me into it. Making youth target for vigilante violence, been left for dead multiple times after being gang beat, and increasing the risk of suicide. Oh, definitely just increased the risk for suicide. Oh, how many times have I tried over this nonsense?
Yeah.
Being labeled for life cuts youth off from society and unfairly punishes them into the margins. Abolish juvenile registries. We use a variety of strategies, including impact litigation, appellate advocacy, and collaboration with attorneys and other stakeholders to eliminate sex offender registries for youth at the state and federal level. In 2014, we successfully challenged Pennsylvania Sex Offender Registry, SORNA, requirements for youth, and the Pennsylvania Supreme Court deemed mandatory lifetime registration. Sorry, I need to finish reading that stuff. And deemed mandatory lifetime registration unconstitutional for young people. 2020 convening for policy advocates, legislative action to end youth registration. Registration can last a child's lifetime and cause significant barriers to education, employment, social relationships, and well-being. Legislative advocacy is needed in coordination with litigation to end youth registration completely. Join us May 18th and 19th, 2020 for a 2-day convening for policy advocacy. Apparently they never updated that or whatever. Interesting. These people are goofy. They come in, they just hit the thumbs down. Doesn't even matter what the video is about. They just automatically come in, hit the thumbs down, the whole group of them. Well, I'll tell you what, that right there just shows the manner of hard-heartedness.
Yeah.
Feel so bad for them. They are on a for sure path that is not leading to an eternal life with the Lord, that's for sure.
Okay.
What happened? Watch out, Richard. Move, Richard, move.
I'm gonna hand him to you.
Be a lot quicker if I could have just got to him. What's up, baby? What's up, sweetie? What's up, baby? Huh? What's up? Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay. Okay. What'd you do? I don't see nothing. Don't see no marks. Nothing. Hmm? You bumped yourself on that toy chest?
Yeah, I hear it from the back of his head, his neck. It was sitting there somewhere so bad. Just missed the pillow.
I think it hurt his pride more than anything, because as I picked him up, 2 seconds after I picked him up, he stops crying, and now he's back playing again.
It was a shock where it sounded worse than it was.
Yeah. Yep. Well, now what'd you do?
He's just glad to have your attention.
He grabbed that Lego, and then, like the Lego hurt him or something. It's about time for you to have a nap. That's part of it. You silly kid. It'd be about nap time. It's really not that close to his nap time, but we may have to put him down a little earlier today because I can tell he's kind of getting cranky. Mm. Yeah, he's definitely getting cranky. Earl, let him figure this stuff out. That's the problem with us people. We want to just do everything for children, and not. I know, but you gotta let him figure it out for himself. I mean, I admire the heart behind it, and it's tough to do, I know, but we got to let this boy grow up. Oh no, I'm good.
Wow. Let me clear his map. He's got everything blocked here. Benjamin? I guess that's Benjamin. Earl went through. Wow.
Okay, Mom, you're wondering everything up for me. Okay. Of course it gets cold. Oh. Oh, you're funny kid. He reminds me of when I'm sitting in the vehicle with my computer open and sitting on the steering wheel, having the computer on the steering wheel.
Maybe he seemed to do that.
I agree.
I noticed he's getting interested in letters. This morning he handed me some and wanted me to tell him what they were. And he was following along last night when the sentences, he was wanting me to point to the words instead of.
So to the viewers, what I'm doing here is, I guess I'm just trying to put out information out there that would help other people that's going through this situation. And what drives me to do it is, of course, my own experience and what I've been through myself, and not being able to find much information on any of this, on this subject over the years. So hopefully for other people that are going through the same issues as I have over the years with the whole juvenile thing, hopefully this will help you out in some way, manner, shape, form, whatever. Did he eat what was on his plate?
Okay, I'm not sure how much was on it, but I know he probably half of it I was with.
Okay, there's most of them on the table.
He left the table and playing.
Okay,
It was mainly the house pound cake I gave him and a couple different things.
gotcha.
He ate whatever else he gave him. Yeah, I use napkins too.
Okay. Let me go over here for a minute and go back. This here, and then I think that's what I got it from. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Okay, click on this. Okay, that doesn't actually give me anything here, but okay, let me do it this way then. Okay, so I'll do like, oops. Okay. Okay. And then what am I using it there for? Let's come up here, file, copy. I don't know if this will help y'all or not, but I'll try it anyway. See if I can provide any kind of assistance for others going through this same struggle. And I gotta edit the mouse options. Driving me nuts. Add. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this over here, I guess. And let's see here. So what I'm about to read from now is, oh, come on. I really need to find a better spot for that, though, because you can't really make it out in that coloring. You know what? Hold on. Let me do a different coloring on that. Coloring. Let's try do this and do this. Maybe that'll help. Oh, come on. Save. Okay, maybe that'll help a little bit. Okay, so the link I have put up here in red, you can type that directly into Google, and you can find this. I think it was 64 pages to do with public law 109-248 July 27, 2006. One statutory 587, 120 statutory 587, I guess, whatever. It's got all the different stuff, I guess, to do with sex offender registrations and all that, whatever. Public Law 109-248, 109 Congress. Which I don't know, honestly, how. What got me to looking at that? There's something that, let me see, I don't even know. Further resolved that the American Bar Association urges Congress to amend Public Law 109-248 regarding sexual crimes committed by juveniles. Okay, so I want to find the part where, so it ought to be highlighted in black. Let me see here. Oh, this is a table of contents here. Okay. And so what I'm looking for is regarding sexual crimes committed by juveniles. So it ought to be titled as Sexual Crimes Committed by Juveniles. Here's something. Sex offender apprehension grants, juvenile sex offender treatment grants. That's in section 623. Section 623. Make a marking on that. I'm just gonna have to kind of undo all this. And this is from 2006. Surely this has been amended since 2006. Let me get off of this. I'll just do that there. Duration of registration requirement. Illinois or Texas, one of the two, I don't remember which it was, made me a tier 3 offender simply because I was homeless and couldn't register. And as a tier 3, well, I say that, and I'm guessing that, but that don't make no sense either, given that Sarah was told that she would never get off the list either until that attorney was hired. But I mean, if it wasn't for that, then I'd say that at some point Illinois or Texas made me a tier 3 because as a tier 3, it means you're on for life or something, is to what I understand. But that don't make no sense either, because the way the different police departments told both me and her was that we was on for life no matter, and she didn't ever have any failure to registers or anything on her record. Anyway, this is whatever. Just got to get through this stuff because I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this. I got the links up there for anybody that wants to. Where's he going? Hey, Benjamin! Benjamin! He was fixing to go through that curtain. You gotta be kidding me. Immunity for good faith conduct. The federal government, jurisdictions, political subdivisions of jurisdictions and their agencies, officers, employees, and agents shall be immune from liability for good faith conduct under this title. So I'm guessing under Section 131, all the falsities that these different jurisdictions put out there about me and in the case and the victim's age and all that nonsense and the actual charge itself, they've got immunity from it all. So even if I could prove that they did it, which would be an act of Congress to prove, even if I could prove it, they'd get immunity from it. Sickening. And it really sickens me because, I keep reading throughout these documents that that this whole thing is created, such as like right here. Let's see, subtitle C, access to information and resources needed to ensure that children are not attacked or abused. What the world happened with people like me and 200,000 others that potentially the system failed? What did the system do to us? What did they not attack us and allow us to be attacked? Is this not considered abuse to just ruin a person's entire life over a juvenile mistake? Anyway. Criminal law enhancements needed to protect children from sexual attacks and other violent crimes. Oh, yeah, because I was so protected from violent crimes. And what the world just happened here? Somehow, because it was supposed to be at like section 163, and I did not. Oh. Section 153, and then jumps 154, 155, and then jumps to 201. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, no, I read that wrong. 623. Okay. See how that has anything to do with it. I think it's kind of weird how people that get convicted of murder, they never got convicted of any sex crimes, but they get convicted of murder, they go on that sex offender registry upon release from prison. Doesn't that diminish the whole reason for the sex offender registry? I mean, once you start realizing that people are being put on the sex offender registry for other reasons than sex crimes, then shouldn't that start to diminish and start to make people think and question and ask, what is the government really doing here? What is the purpose of this? What are they really up to? No, honestly, a lot of this is the beginning phases, which we're past the beginning phases, but the beginning phases of making sure that everybody is in the system, marked, can be found when that day comes that the prophecies tell us about in the end times, that everybody will have to receive a mark on their hand or their forehead. No, eventually, everybody in the world is going to be basically on the sex offender list, whether they commit a sex crime or not. You can choose to believe that or think I'm crazy if you want. That's completely up to you, but that's what's happening. If a man pulls over on the side of the road, and even if he's as careful as he can be, and doesn't even get caught, as far as like nothing seen or nothing, he's completely hidden. But if it's discovered that he peed outside, say a cop pulls up and sees the urine on the ground, That's enough right there to charge him and put him on the sex offender list for the rest of his life, simply because he pulled over on the side of the highway to relieve his bladder. A lot of people on the list for that one. But those that, I get it. For the people that really are out there molesting children and raping women and children and all that, I get it. Trust me, I get it. No, they're sick. On a carnal level, they got what's coming to them. All right. From an old outlaw perspective, they got what they got. They're going to get what they got coming. But what y'all fail to realize is, even aside from the juvenile issue, there are so many men and women that are on that list for the most stupidest reasons. They had to pee. It was either do it in their pants because there wasn't a bathroom close enough, or pull over to the side of the road and relieve themselves. And if they choose to not wet their pants and pull over to the side of the road and relieve themselves, well, guess what? If you're caught doing that, you get put on that list. Did you know, fun fact here, not really so fun, but did you know it is illegal to pee outside, but it is not illegal to poop outside? It's illegal to get caught peeing, but it's not illegal to get caught pooping. Look it up. That is truly a law. That truly is the law. It is legal to poop in public, but it is illegal to pee in public. Statute 618. Okay. Program. Oh. Well, I just now seen your message there, Resto. Good morning. I'll pop in when I can. Kind of busy at work. Oh, trust me, I understand. Immigration. All right, now we're finally getting to that 600 section where we should start coming into the information about juvenile offenses and whatnot. Hopefully, but still seeing nothing there yet. We've got to go check on things here. Oh, Okay. I gotta hurry up and get through this because, to be honest, my stomach is just turning knots. Going through all this nonsense again. But honestly, it's something that yeah, has been heavy on my heart for many years, and something that I want to help people with that's going through the same thing. That was a kid when they did whatever it was that they did, and then they got to suffer for it for the rest of their life. Okay, we're at section 601, 2, and 3. Grant program for extending Big Brother, Big Sisters mentoring program. Biannual report. Financial report. Ain't telling me nothing. Doesn't look like this gonna tell me anything. Man, did I miss something over here? Maybe it told me a section. Private provisions of public law 109-248. Wait a minute, dash 248. 109-248. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Let me go back here for a second. Wait a minute, I've already passed that. 206, 210, 213, 15, 16, and jumps to 301. So there is no 248. There's a 4228. Civil commitment of a sexually dangerous person. This is section 4248, but not actually 248. Sexually dangerous person means a person who has engaged or attempted to engage in sexual violent conduct or child molestation and who is sexually dangerous to others. I'm just not finding anything here. Whatever. Let me just carry on through this. Get over with it. Y'all can, I got the stuff on the screen. Y'all can go look this stuff up for yourself. I got to just get on through this, and if I find something, I find something. If I don't, I don't. It's probably, I'm sure it's in here. I just can't find it so far. Oh, what do we got? We're getting somewhere now. Hold on. Treatment and management of sex offenders in the Bureau of Prisons. Section 623. Okay, I thought I had already passed section 623, but okay. Well, I thought that was 623. Okay, so somehow or another, I got tricked. I thought I passed section 623. But anyway, here we are. Sex offender apprehension grants, juvenile sex offender treatment grants. Title 1 of the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968 is amended by adding at the end, where did I just go? Lost it here. Adding at the end the following new part. Part X, sex offender apprehension grants, juvenile sex offender treatment grants. Let's see. Authority to make sex offender apprehension grants. Juvenile sex offender treatment grants. Authority to make juvenile sex offender treatment grants in general from amounts made available to carry out this part. The Attorney General may make grants to units of local government, Indian tribal correctional facilities, and private entities in multiple jurisdictions, regional consortia. Two. Covered activities of assisted treatment of sex and juvenile sex offender defined for the purpose of this section. The term juvenile sex offender is a sex offender who had not attained the age of 18 at the time of his or her offense. Authorization of appropriations to authorize to be appropriated. 10. What? Authorization of appropriations. There are authorized to be appropriated $10 million for each fiscal year 2007 through 2009 to carry out this part. Assistance for prosecution of cases cleared through use of DNA, backlog clearance funds, blah, 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 blah. Section 25, grants to combat sexual abuse of children, grants to private entity, for instance, crime prevention campaign grant. Okay, none of this is grants for fingerprinting programs for children, grants for rape, abuse, and incest, national network. Findings: Congress finds as follows: more than 200,000 Americans each year are victims of sexual assault, more than 200,000, Congress finds as follows: more than 200,000 Americans each year are victims of sexual assault, according to the Department of Justice, the DOJ. In 2004, one American was sexually assaulted every 2.5 minutes. One of every 6 women and one of every 133 men in America has been the victim of a completed or attempted rape, according to the Department of Justice. The Federal Bureau of Investigation ranks rape second in the hierarchy of violent crimes for its uniform crime reports, trailing only murder. The federal government, through the Victims of Crime Act, Violence against women and other laws has long played a role in providing services to sexual assault victims and in seeking policies to increase the number of rapists brought to justice. You know, this is crazy because we just read that it does happen to men too. Um, but I do find it interesting that in everything that I read, you want to talk about racism, for a lack of a better word. Um, you read it like right here, okay? We read one of every 133 men in America has been the victim of a completed or attempted rape, according to the DOJ, the Department of Justice. But yet, this one little paragraph right here, it's about 80% way through this 64-page deal to do with the sex offender thing, all the laws and everything. This is the first time I read about anything to do with men being a victim. Everybody wants to make it about the women and the children. Okay, that's fine. And the men that have had to endure this stuff, well, we see that one of every 133 men deal with this. Actually, that number should be a lot higher. It is a lot higher. However, because of the norms of society, making men to feel like they can't come forward and like it didn't happen and want to tell them, oh, you're lying and blah, 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 and you need to shut up and you're so sick and twisted, or dude, get over it, or no, men don't get raped like that, or oh, if you got raped, you deserve it because you're just a pansy. You know, you're supposed to be a real man. A real man ain't gonna let that happen. Blah 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 blah. So, because of the way the norms of society treats men, men don't typically come forward in regards to sexual assaults and abuse on them. They don't come forward in regards to uh, uh, spousal abuse. They normally just typically endure it, and they are made to feel much less than if they allow themselves to be abused. But let me tell you, folks, men get abused by women just about as much as women, if not, I mean, I have to say it's a 50-50 thing. Through all my research and studies and people I've talked to, it is a 50-50 thing. Men are just as equally abused by women as women are abused by men. Rather the just because the statistics show that women are much more abused than men, that's only because women, for women, it is socially acceptable for them to come forward. And for women, they're going to be believed instantly. A man says anything, no. It's disregarded, it's downplayed, the man is made to feel less than, so on and so forth. Anyway, I just had to stop and point that atrocity out. Federal Bureau of Investigation ranks. We read that. Sexual assault research suggests that sexual assault victims are more likely to report their attacks to police and to participate in the prosecution of offenders. Nonprofit. Public development blah, 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 blah. Children's safety online awareness campaigns, grants for online child safety programs. Where's the program for? Oh, aggravates me so much. Safety vendor. Comprehensive government access issues. support of the enforcement of registration requirements. Comprehensive examination of issues. National Institute of Justice shall conduct evaluation and the constitutional lines associated with both non-opinion section of registration and locating agreement section of fitness of the There's nothing there about juveniles. Yeah, bull hippie. Government accountability studies on feasibility of user driver's license. Case study, anything in here about juveniles. Saying, okay, so matches law, this section matches law. Person that's writing a minor who is and inserting the following. Any person who, while a minor, was inserting after such violation the following, regardless of whether the injury occurred while such person was a minor, and by certain person who imitating any minor. What the world is all that? I don't understand. So that's the last page of it. I'm guessing there has to be something in that 64-page writings concerns this whole matter. But wherever it's at, it's an issue so untouched on, so hidden, that it's buried somewhere in this paperwork. Whatever little bit is that must be said on it is so buried in there, and it can't be covered much because I just went through every page in there and found nothing. Even when I went through the table of contents and found a section that looked like it probably would pertain to it, went through that section, nothing. Found nothing. So if it's in there, it's buried in there, and it is a sad, sad shame. But the main thing that we can take from, I believe it's the very first link we put up, that I put up on the screen, the top link. Let's see here. American bar groups, interest, child, attorney, juvenile sex offender policy. The second link is to, I think the second link is, no, the third link's to that report I just went through. The second link, I believe, is to the Soros thing. But that first link is to the American Bar Association, which is where the most information can be gotten in regards to this subject. So go to the go to that first link, write it down. Child Law Resources Attorney. Let's see, AmericanBar.org/group/child_interest/child_law/resources/attorney/juvenile_score/sex. Anyway, you go to that, that'll take you right to the American Bar Association, the ABA. And it'll take you right directly to the area if you type it in exactly as I got it on the screen, or if somehow you're able to copy and paste. It'll take you directly to the juvenile sex offender policy and recommendations and everything that is entailed on that. purpose of everything right now, I'm sick and tired of this subject. I can't do it no more. I'm ending the video, this particular video. I will see everybody over on the main programming stream. Good to have you in here, dude. I'm sorry.
Good job. There you go. Roll it up. Oop. I guess there you go. Okay.
Oh, man.
Good job. Good job.
You can get it, baby boy. You can get it, baby.
He's trying to keep his balance and
I
get
know
those
it.
hands up too, boy.
He's learning good. He's coming
Working
along
on it,
just
boy.
fine. Yeah, he's
Good
coming
job.
along just
Good
fine.
job. Oh, yeah.
The
Let me get your collar down.
world is all this nonsense.
Good job.
The world is all this. What the world? Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. I see. I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I went and checked that out. Let's go ahead and. Of course. Boy, I'm so glad I looked into that. So, no, dude, you are not welcome on this channel anymore after I just seen what you attempted to put on there. No, you're done. You're definitely done. May 10th of 2023. So you literally created your account today just so that you could come in there and try that nonsense. Yep. Whatever. So, good deal. Glad I caught that. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I I told y'all we run tight ship over here. Our security is in high force. You're not going to get away with all that nonsense. And the good Lord is looking out for us. Now, you want to go creating accounts just to come in and cause drama, blah, blah, blah. Well, whatever. Do your thing, waste your time. It is what it is. But the good Lord is helping us to run a tight ship over to this channel. We're not going to put up with it. We're not going to put up with the abuse, drama, whatever. This is a safe haven, a place of sanctity, a place of refuge for people to come to be loved and to love, to learn, to grow, to teach, to reach out, to develop friendships, develop family, be a part of a family, so on and so forth. We will run a tight ship and keep the nonsense, the garbage, the demonic forces off of this channel. Understand me? Sure you do. Much love, y'all. I love each and every one of y'all that are here, including those that have tried to bring harm and evil. Good to have y'all here again. I appreciate the 3 of you that gave a thumbs up. But as well, I appreciate the 7 of you that gave a thumbs down. Lets me know I'm always on, lets me know that I may not always on the right track, but lets me know I'm on the right track in everything that I do. As the good Lord tells us in Scripture that the more on fire we are for Him, and the more right that we're doing, more of a true example for Christ we are being, well, the more persecutions we'll have to endure as well. So, for those reasons, and for reasons of loving my enemies just as much as I love those that are not enemies, thank you very much for the thumbs down just as much as for the thumbs up. Love y'all. God bless. I'll see you back on the mainstream.